Shirt show. All right, let's go.
Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Shirt man! All right! Episode 293 of Shirt Show! We're talking with Rachel from Star Cadet in Tennessee. Let's go!
Hey guys, if you're new here, my name is Dylan. I'm the owner of Upstate Merch and the host of the Shirt Show podcast. My guest today was Rachel Rogers. We got really in depth in how she grew their retail space. Her husband has a YouTube channel that kind of blew up. He was early on in YouTube stardom and fame, and then it turned into an animated series that was on TBS called Final Space. So their brand kind of grew and they had the licensing to do everything with that. And we kind of go into detail on how it is starting out from nothing to having what they have today and going through all those challenges. Rachel was very open and honest about their, background and struggles and their wins and all of that stuff. So this episode kind of hit home a lot with, being a business owner and trying to figure out how to navigate growth and unexpected things that happen. So this was a really great episode and I hope you guys enjoy it. I do want to ask, no matter where you're listening to the show, watching it, whatever you're doing, if you can hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment, let us know how you think the show is and if there's anything we can do to improve. If you want to help us out, if you could share, that would be huge for us. If you could tell your friends about the show, if you could post on your stories or wherever you want to post about the show, that would be amazing. I appreciate it. If you want to dive deeper into these episodes, there's a weekly newsletter that I write. I write it on Sundays at my kitchen table for the most part. It's got what's going on with me in my shop. It's got tips and tricks. It's got articles from some of the best people out there. And there's industry news from Printing United. It's new every week. So if you want to check it out, go to shirtshowofficial.com/newsletter. This show would not be possible without our amazing partners. Frank. It all starts with a screen. Whether it's new stretches or restretches, Frank and his team do it the best. To find out more, go to graphicscreenfashion.com, greatfuckingscreens.com, or ffffrank.com. I do want to say, Frank and Graphic Screen Fashion, best screens out there for real. Like, I'm not just saying that. Frank is a great friend. I love the guy to death, but he does make the best screens out there. If you are a screen printer and you want to have the best prints, use the best screens. It all starts with a screen. So make sure you do that and check them out. Cleaning screens is no fun, but EasyWay makes it way more funner. Their line of eco-friendly chemicals and equipment make reclaiming screens a whole lot easier. Right now is a great time to check them out because they have a new monthly giveaway where you have a chance to win $250 in product credit. Head over to easyway.com/giveaway to enter today. It's a no-brainer. Go sign up. Their website is amazing, honestly. They have a ton of resources on there about reclaim. It's a really great place to go learn some stuff. And also, you can get $250 in credit. That's a good amount of chemical. So go check it out. GraphX is your source for production-ready digital art and remote art staffing. They can help any size shop from just starting out to enterprise level. If you're looking for a hero in your art department, check out graphxsource.com. Great dudes. Had dinner with them in Vegas. We talked a lot about, the things that they offer and what they do. We talked about a lot of things I probably, shouldn't say out loud. GraphX is one of those companies where they offer a real solution that would really help us out, dedicated artists in digitizing and in graphic design and separations. It's a huge part of our business. So if you ever need a hand, maybe you need an a la carte thing where you just have this one piece of art that's really hard for you to step, send it to them. They'll do just the one. Or if you want somebody full time, they're your person where they can give you a dedicated artist that's your art department for all time. SNS is your premier partner in the apparel industry with one website, one purchase order, 14 distribution centers, and over 100 beloved brands. You can streamline your ordering and hit free freight faster than ever. SNS has 1 to 2 days shipping with the lowest error rate in the industry. Be sure to order your blanks from ssactivewear.com. Today's episode is brought to you by American Apparel. I do want to say I just worked the Vegas booth with Gildan, American Apparel Champion, and Comfort Colors, and some of the new stuff they have out is awesome. If you get a chance, go check it out. The new American Apparel shirt that we were dealing with is great. It's like a boxy fit, but it has thick seams and a wide collar. It's really cool. A lot of people loved it. You should definitely go out and get some samples of some of their new stuff. For over 90 years, Stahls has been a leading choice among apparel decorators for their heat transfer materials, heat press equipment, and custom transfer services. Not only do they offer some of the best products, but they're always looking to innovate and educate our industry on all things heat press. Head over to Stahls today to order your transfers and check them out on YouTube to be taught a thing or two. Rionet's always been that solid go-to resource for screen printers. I'm not going to do the rest of the thing here because I do want to say the people at Rionet have really helped me out recently. They are just amazing people. You know, I reached out personally as like, hey, I need a favor. I'm live printing in Long Beach. And I was like, I don't want to send the press across the country. I don't want to deal with all of this. And I reached out to them and they were like, no problem. We got you. And they are helping me with a press, a dryer, getting set up, anything I needed, getting screens burned. They were just amazing. And no questions asked. Yep, we'll do it. No problem. And they didn't have to at all. It just shows the kind of people they are. They're just here for the printers. They're here to help. They don't really have anything to gain. They just want to be helpful and be great people. So make sure you go check out screenprinting.com, order some supplies from Rionet. Just great people. I also just want to say, you know, it's a new year, new episodes. We have a lot of things in the works for this year where we're trying to change things up, tweak things a little bit. I do really want to hear from you guys. If you can, leave a comment on the YouTube video, send me a DM, whatever. Anything you can think of that you think would help the show, support the show, guests maybe, let us know. I just want to say I appreciate all of you listening and watching. It means a lot to me. I hope you enjoy this episode. It gets kind of deep. It gets kind of fun. Let me know what you think. Thanks, guys. Have a great one. Hey.
Hi. Dude, I'm so long to reschedule.
Oh, I know. It's okay. I've been running around like crazy too. Like last 2 weeks have been chaos for me, so it's okay.
Yeah. Are you in Print Alliance?
No, I went to this last week was PPAI, which is like the promotional products show. And then I'm kind of in this weird limbo in between now where we're headed to the ISS show in Long Beach. So,
right.
Yeah, so it's a nice 2-week stretch. But the cool thing is like me and Christina drove down yesterday. It was like a whole thing. Like we got a rental car in Vegas. Well, we tried to get a rental car and then we Ubered from the hotel to the rental car place in the Venetian. And they were like, hey, we're out of cars. And I was like, okay, cool. Naturally, right. So we sat around and kind of tried to figure things out. Let's just fly or let's do this or whatever. After a while, we were just like, screw it. Let's just go to the airport and see if they have cars. And they had a car. So we were like, cool, let's drive. So if anyone has to drive from Vegas to Palm Springs, which is where we are right now, it's an awesome drive. Like through the desert with this like sunset and stuff. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When me and my husband were living in Los Angeles, we would go to Palm Springs or Joshua Tree very often because it's like the key of surviving Los Angeles is that you leave frequently. It's really interesting. I don't know what the energy is of that city, but like as you drive out of it and you like start to go into the desert, you just feel everything sort of like lift off of you. And so we would, there's a ton of like amazing Airbnbs out in Joshua Tree. And so we'd go out there and just like decompress for a couple of days. And then sometimes we then go to Vegas or something and, you know, get in that energy, which is like really high energy, and then like stop at Joshua Tree again and then go back. But it's like, it is a beautiful drive though. Between those.
Well, we have awesome, generous friends, Glenn and Ashley at Windmill City. We came out here last year too, before the show, let us stay in their casita, and it's beautiful. Like their house, the surroundings, everything. It's a totally different world for me, like desert and like the way it is and whatever. It's just, it's awesome.
East Coast to West Coast. That's like those are very stark differences.
It's a very stark difference. So anyway, how's things with you? How's work?
I mean, I'm glad that we rescheduled because I was like mentally I was like, everything sucks. Like 2 weeks ago, I was like, it's all over. We should just quit. But I'm in a better space. Like as of right now, I just had to get through. There's always like that weird gap between like right before Christmas and then like mid-January where it's like everyone's bought their Christmas presents. No one wants to spend any money, and it's just like, what do we do? Like, what do we do? But we got through it, and things are rolling again. So it's like, it's totally
Yeah.
fine. I don't know why I have to like the ebbs and flows. You get in the
I
ebb
think
and you're like, oh no, we'll never get out of this.
I've been talking about it on the show for a while, where I feel like all of last year and a part of the year before, like I was kind of in a negative mindset because of the way things were going and whatever. And again, like it was okay. The shop's okay. Jobs are coming in, things are flowing. But the truth of it is like as an owner, you're not seeing growth like there was before, or you're not seeing progress where there was before. And you know what? All last year, I feel like it sucks because like this is my platform to like vent. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like the listeners kind of took some brunt of me complaining about certain things, which I don't want to do anymore. And I think part of my New Year's resolution is to just like get over it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like for
that's like
real,
the
like it is
reality.
what it is. And, I do believe in, putting positivity out there, good vibes out there, and good things are going to happen and whatever. So
Yeah.
I'm going to just, I'm just going to try to be positive this year and move forward and whatever. So to not get into negative stuff, I'm going to say to you, I don't know, just fucking try to do something to get your mind off it, do something
Yeah.
productive, and good stuff will
Something
come.
like a cognitive therapy thing that has been helping me, and me and my husband will do it together sometimes, is just a gratitude journal. Like just write down 5 things that you're grateful for, and it doesn't have to be big things. Like I've like gone back and read like the past like couple months that I've been writing in it, and it's like I'll just be like, I'm grateful for my dog. I'm grateful for my kitchen that's painted avocado green. I'm grateful
Yeah.
for, and it would just be like, I'm grateful for scrambled eggs. It's just like whatever I can
Me too.
yeah. Just like really simple things, and it just sort of like it just sort of like lowers the noise in your
Yeah.
brain for like a second, because you're like, oh, everything's not falling apart, like I'm fine, I'm healthy for the most part. We're all working on
Yeah.
cholesterol, but
Yeah. Me too.
cholesterol and blood pressure is like but that's been really helpful. And I've been trying to do it as a disruption to like any sort of spiral that I might be in, where it's like, oh, everything's going to shit. Like, what are we going to do for money? How are we going to finish? All those like crazy, spirally thoughts. It's just like, wait, what am I grateful for? And it kind of is just a good disengage from the spiral.
Yeah.
Not saying that I do it all the time, but it has been helpful in several instances of like, just stop, breathe, think about good
Yeah.
things.
Do you feel like that like kind of soothes you a little bit and gets you centered?
I have it sitting on my little kitchen table. So I do it in the morning. So it helps me sort of
Yeah.
start the day in the right mindset. But even still, like, even if I don't have the journal, and like because my husband is my business partner. So, we have no boundaries of work life separation. We could be doing anything and like having a work conversation. And
Yeah.
if we're both sort of like spiraling, I'll just be like, what are 5 things we're grateful for? And we'll just say it like out loud, and it'll just kind of
Yeah.
like disengage the sort of stress bubble that we've created. So yeah, it's been good. It's been good.
Well, let's talk this positivity though. Like
Yeah.
what for you, before we get into your story, which we will, but like for you last year to this year, is there anything that you're like stoked to try or like get into that you weren't doing before, or just maybe lessons you've learned that you're like, oh, I'm going to put
Um,
this in place this year?
I think the biggest thing for me is, and this is like, I feel like I know I'm not alone in this, but my brain tricks me into think I'm alone in this sort of way of thinking, is that, when you're running a small business and, you know, everything is personal, no matter how
Yeah.
much you try to be like, it's just business, it like really, it, you can really work hard to like be that way, but also like inevitably, if you're an empathetic person and you're an
I don't think
artist,
that, I don't think it's real. I think that
it's not.
people,
Yeah.
I think that it's just business thing is a way for us to deflect from the fact that it like super cuts deep and
Yes.
keeps us up
Yeah.
at night and makes us wake up in a sweat or
Yep.
any of those things. I don't
Yeah.
think it's real. I think it's all personal for me. Like employees, I think
Mhm.
customer reviews or customer statements, anything like that, it all it all hits you. It all hits you. Like there's nothing you can do about it. It's your thing. You know what I mean?
And I think the part that I think really messes with my brain is that not only am I fighting the fight of like trying not to let things, get to me or like really get me down. It's like I also feel immense amount of guilt for then letting things get to me, for being
Yeah.
affected. And so it's like this double-edged, like double layered, like mind, like loop that you get in where you're like,
Yeah.
you're feeling bad. You shouldn't feel bad. And it's like, well, maybe you should feel bad. It's just like this weird, like you just kind of go in this loop and you're just like, just don't feel bad. Just don't feel things. That's it. That's all you got to do. Just never feel anything ever again.
Yeah, and then you get labeled as somebody who's just quiet or just goes in their office and shuts the door or whatever, because that's all you're trying to do. You're just trying to survive. You know what I mean? At some point,
Yeah,
you're just like, I need to distance myself from this, distance myself from this, but then the culture changes and your vibe changes and all these things. But
yeah,
it's like, I think the trick with being an entrepreneur is just you just have to deal with it. Like you're
yeah.
just gonna die young. You're gonna go bald. You're gonna, you know what I mean? Like you're gonna have the cholesterol issues.
You're gonna
It
have
just,
horrible cholesterol at 20 or at 38, and your doctor's gonna be like, "What are you doing?" You're like, literally eating healthy.
it's funny that you bring this up, and not that I want to get super deep into this, but like I have the exact same problem. Like
Yeah.
it's just genetics or whatever, or it's the
Mm-hmm.
stress eating.
Mm-hmm.
But I went the natural route for a long time because I don't like taking pills. I don't take any prescription, anything. And I tried, a bunch of different things. And the doctor this last time I went and got blood work done. They're like, I think it's time to try like a cholesterol med, just so that when you're 50, you are okay. Like right now, we can see like it's starting to go this way.
Yeah.
Maybe when we give you something so that by the time you're older, we're not regretting not doing anything. So I just, for the first time in my life, started taking cholesterol meds like a month ago.
Mine actually started getting better. And I don't have health insurance. I'm a small business owner. I don't have health insurance. Like
I don't either.
we don't even need to go into why, as business owners, we deal with insurance all the time. And I think it's all a scam. Anyways.
I fully agree with my insurance person is my sister-in-law.
Yeah.
So like, I feel open to give her shit. You know what I mean? Be like,
Yeah.
This is a scam. You are just robbing me. That's all this is. Like,
yeah.
And the other day I texted her because I'm going through this expense sheet of like, what am I spending throughout the year? What are my monthly whatevers? And I texted her and I was like, can you give me a breakdown of all my insurances? Because I have a ton. It's like the building, the equipment, the liability on everything, the insurance in case like we do some large order and it gets messed up and we have to do something. Like all these, like the car insurance on the vans, like all these other things. I totaled it up and I'm like, this is so much money to just be lighting on fire.
So much money.
And never seeing anything from.
Yeah. But anyway, so I got this like really great doctor who does like monthly subscription sort of base, and she's amazing. And she understands I'm like you, I don't like taking medication for my like mental health because I've just had such bad experiences with it. And lately, like in the last 6 months, she was like, let's try this one thing. It'll help you with anxiety. And I was like, that's all I want. I want help with anxiety. I can handle depression. Like I can handle depression for the most part, but like the anxiety is like really what gets me.
Yeah.
And she gave me a beta blocker. And I tell you what, that has changed my life.
I might need to ask you about that after.
Yeah, it has changed my life. It just lowers your adrenaline. It just kind of like quiets the adrenaline. And I'm like, and then you can just, and then your body doesn't get wrecked by the anxiety attack you just went through. You can just like sort of like stop the spiral. That's there's consistency. I'm just trying to stop the spiral into the oh my god, everything's falling apart mental stage. But yeah, beta blockers, man, that is truly a game changer. I think as a small business owner, I would recommend that. If obviously your doctor needs to recommend it for you, like I'm not a doctor.
Just as a prerequisite to being a business owner, just get on a beta blocker and we'll call it good.
You just have it because it doesn't mess with your brain chemistry. It just kind of like you just take it when you need it. So yeah, as a business owner, I highly recommend it if you're struggling with like the sort of like doom anxiety where you're like, oh my god, what are we, having those moments where your body reacts to the stress in a way that you can't control. Right. Highly recommend. But yeah.
Well, let's find out now. I guess it's a perfect segue to find out why you have this anxiety and this whatever. So, can you kind of tell, I guess, the people and me your story of like how you got started in this whole industry, how it all came to be?
My name is Rachel Rogers. I co-own Cadet with my husband, Olin Rogers. And so I started, I guess we can go back to like the beginning of like being
the very beginning. Give me whatever you want.
Right? Like, so I graduated with a Bachelor in Fine Arts with a concentration in interior design in 2010 during the housing market crisis. So that was a win.
Perfect.
There were no interior design jobs. That's kind of like the quintessential millennial story. Like we all just like graduated into like a recession and everyone was like, we were told to get a college degree that would get us a job or guarantee us a job. And then no jobs existed when we were
the very end of that era of parents, every parent being like, the only way to succeed is to go to college and get a ton of debt and get whatever. And then basically all of us all at once were like, cool. None of this panned out.
None of it.
Right.
And so, so I like, graduated into that. The idea of success that was drilled into me in college was like working for a hospitality firm, like doing hotels or, heaven forbid you do any sort of like decorating, like residential decorating, like that was decorating. That wasn't interior design. That was not architecture, blah, blah, blah. And so, sort of went into the workforce with just like a delusional mindset, and was, immediately knocked down to, the ground of
reality peg
unemployment. Right. And you're like, there's no one's hiring in this field, so I, went back to my college job. I was working at Pottery Barn, which love those guys. Great company to work for. And, I was working at Pottery Barn and then inevitably got a job in purchasing at a home decor retailer, Kirkland Home Decor, and did that for 4.5 years. And I moved from wall decor, frames, and then did 2 years in seasonal. So I have like a very love-hate relationship with all holidays now. After
it brings you trauma.
Yeah, like dealing with Christmas ornaments for like full 2 year, like never stopping on Christmas. Like it really took me about 10 years to like ever want to do Christmas again. And then ended on art and like framed art and stuff like that. And so I did that for about 4.5 years. There was a lot of really good people there, but I call that like my 4 year, like that was my 4-year degree in Mean Girl University. It was very much like, it was a pretty toxic, like female work environment, very, cutthroat and hard. It was very hard. But I learned so much on like this sort of mass retail, like product development overseas and importing goods into the US, like when I was purchasing for Christmas, like I would spend like $7 million in a day just on like nativity scenes and stuff like that. And you're just like, it was just a wild
$7 million worth of nativity scenes into the world seems like too much.
Crazy days like that. I would add it up at the end of the day and I'd be like, that's stupid. And
for sure.
it was a wild experience, because I came from this like architecture background and art background, and I like went like knee deep into retail and capitalism
But
essentially.
what's really funny is I feel like a lot of friends and business owners that I talk to that have done this like retail boot camp basically like early on in their career is like
Mm-hmm.
I would almost recommend it. Like we
Yeah,
don't see it
no.
at the time as like a benefit. We're like, oh fuck, I have to do this thing. It sucks. I don't want to do it. It'll get me from
Mm-hmm.
A to B. But the truth is like I do the same thing. Like I worked at a pizza place. I worked at a movie theater. I worked at Sears where I was going into like people's homes, like personally by myself. Like it forces you to have uncomfortable, not necessarily uncomfortable, but it forces you to
Growth.
have conversations with people that you have no idea anything about.
Mm-hmm.
It's like learning how to do small talk or learning how to communicate with human beings to the fact
Yeah.
of this is what they actually need. This is how I should approach them. This is how I get things done. And all of those things made me a better person and made me a
Yeah.
better business owner because now I can communicate with anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I do feel it, and I don't want to go too much on. Well, I guess we can go on tangent. This is a
We
podcast.
can go on whatever. Yeah.
But yeah, I do feel like sort of that like progression of people's careers as like somehow the beginning stages has really gotten blurred for a lot of people, and like the sort of like there's, I don't want to say do your time, but like there's just a stage where you fucking hate what you're doing. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like you have to
Yeah.
do that for a little while in order to appreciate a good work environment, or working for, or not like a good, just a mediocre work environment, or just,
But the funny
going
thing
through.
about that is I feel like there's this whole culture too of like bro dudes that are like trying to skip all of those steps. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like get rich. I'm going to get a
Mhm.
Lambo. I'm going to whatever. And
Yeah.
it's like you're kind of doing yourself a disservice because your whole life is this like grind culture, blah, blah, blah. But you're not doing the grind. You're trying to get rich quick. It's like
Hmm.
us other people who are struggling along for a couple years or whatever it is, doing the bullshit you say is dumb and never want to do,
Hmm.
actually gives us a leg up because we have that
Yeah.
crash course. We have that mental callus.
Yeah. It's like you can literally figure anything out if you like go through a sort of, and that was like very, very corporate work environment, but it was also a small corporation. I mean, they had 300 something stores, but it still was like on the smaller scale. And, and there were a lot of really, despite it being what I call a mean girl university, there were a lot of really good people there too that just like taught me so much. Um, and like how to think about inventory and how to like know when something's doing well and read reports in Excel. Like I never had in all elementary education to high school to college, I never had a course on Excel. I don't even know how that happens.
There's so much stuff. Like I think back of like high school and whatever, because I have teenagers and I'm thinking about the things that they're learning in school and whatnot. And there's so much stuff that I look back and I'm like, there's two things, and this is dumb as it is and basic as it is. There's two things I can remember from school that like I might use on a regular basis. One was like a 1 week class we did in I had like an accounting class or whatever it was, where it showed you how to like balance a checkbook.
Yeah.
And it was like 1 week worth of class. That was it. It was just
Yeah.
like, this is, oh, we're going to do this, show you how to do this thing. Home and Careers taught me how to hand sew, like
Yep.
sew a button on or sew whatever,
Mhm.
like thread a needle and whatever. And I feel like those are the only things that I learned. And the funny thing about those is that it's like the most basic thing we should be learning. Like you said, like
Yeah.
we should be learning Excel. We should learn, if you're into
Taxes.
art, you should automatically learn like Photoshop, Illustrator. Like it
Mhm.
should be basic, like bullshit, like how to cook food. Like,
Oh my God. Yeah. How to feed yourself should be a class that you
yeah.
take every year in like your lower education, like how to feed yourself, because I am still trying to figure that out at almost 40.
I'm in a spot with my kids now where like when they ask for food or I'm going to make them food, I say, come here, and I show them like how I'm making it. They're not retaining any of it, I feel like, but they're at least standing there watching me like show them how to make fucking chicken nuggets in the air fryer.
Do you shake your air fryer? Do you shake it? Do you shake things up in it like a real
Yeah,
chef?
you got to do the 10 minutes and then shake, and then you do another 4 or 5 minutes and then whatever. But
My husband
it's just
does
stuff
that
like
too.
that. Like, not to throw my son under the bus, but something happened when we were doing cooking stuff the other day. Oh, I think we were making ramen or something. And I was like, open the bag and put it in. And he like if you ever open a bag of ramen, you got to almost do it like real slow so it doesn't
Mhm.
explode with noodles all over the place. He opened it, exploded, noodles all over the place. And I was like, go get the broom. And then he went and got a normal house broom, like straight up and down normal house broom. And he was like pushing it forward. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, how is this reality right now? You're 15 years old and you don't know
Yeah.
how to use a broom? Like,
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 yeah, I can touch on that later in my story on having to teach, 20 somethings how to mop. And I was like, how do you not know how to mop?
yeah,
And that
exactly.
was like my first real being an employer. And I was like, oh shit. Like, this is what being
Right.
an employer is. I have to teach grown adults how to mop. Oh, okay.
Well, that was something I learned in business too. Not like we'll bring it back to the business thing, but like
Yeah.
I learned that the things that I know in my common sense isn't everybody else's common sense. You know what I mean? So like, it's just one of those things, like you have to kind of start from the basics when you're teaching somebody everything and
Mm-hmm.
like learning how to do a thing. You can't assume that they know how to do a task. And
Yeah.
again, I don't mean that in a negative way at all. I'm just saying, like, to get the results you're looking for, maybe you
Yep.
need to even if it seems dumb to show them, it's kind of like, okay, well, this is how this should go, because you can't assume that they have that knowledge that you had already.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so you had Mean Girl University, and then what
Yes.
happens next?
So, like simultaneously while I was, doing that full-time job, I was doing freelance. I had a ton of side gigs. I was doing a lot of, when I was in college, a new software had come out, in the architecture sort of industry. It was, not CAD, but Revit. It was a 3D modeling software. You could do 3D renderings and then also, floor plans. And it kind of like was the whole bit, but none of my professors knew how to use it. So I just started like teaching myself while I was paying for professors to teach me how to do things.
Yeah,
And so, while I was in college, I learned this skill. And while I was working at Kirkland's, I was like, all right, well, maybe there's like, since this is sort of new and a lot of these architects aren't using it, maybe I can like do freelance. And so I started, and like slowly around the last 2 years I was at Kirkland's, Nashville started having like a housing boom. And so it went from like 0 to like 100, and developers needed 3D renderings to try to sell the house before they were done building it. And so I kind of got in on doing these like 3D renderings for architects around town. And then I started freelancing with an architect, and just doing like field measurements for him. And so I was doing a lot. And then on top of that, my husband and boyfriend at the time, he was one of probably the original, I would say one of the original people on YouTube that started doing merch. Um, his name is Olin Rogers. If you've watched old YouTube, he was in a group called Balloon Shop, and then he sort of that kind of like everyone went their separate ways, and he started his own channel. And I think his like most viral video was called Ghost in the Stalls. And so
It's a Monday.
He started doing merch sort of before YouTubers started doing merch, and got a partner who was just like printing out of his bedroom. And because I knew how to sew from my one class in high school that taught me how to sew, home ec class,
mm-hmm.
I was like sewing patches on some of the things that they were released, and like doing hem labels. And so I was doing that as well on the side. And so around 2014, Olin's doing like really well on YouTube. He had just done a Eat a Slice with Me tour, which was like a pizza party tour, and it was free for his fans to meet him. And they sold merch, and the merch paid for the next stop, and he ended up doing really well. And I think Jones Soda sponsored it by
I love
donating.
Jones.
Yeah, and they're good people. They're really good people. And so that's where the idea of doing a brick and mortar sort of started, where it was a soda shop and a t-shirt shop. And so Olin, was like, do you want to, quit this job that you hate and like design a soda shop and then run it? And I was like, yeah, I kind of have the perfect background for this. I've been doing retail, purchasing and back end like retail for 4 years. And
You were
I've
doing
been,
it without knowing that you were getting
yeah,
yourself ready for your career, basically.
exactly. Yeah. It was just this like perfect scenario where I was like, okay, well, I can do the construction documents. I can get the building permit. I can run the construction
I
because
can
I've
order
literally,
$7 million worth of nativity scenes.
yeah. Yeah. And then, I mean, there was a shit ton of stuff that I didn't know how to do, but I had, a good architect that I had been working for who was going to mentor me through the process, And so, yeah, I quit Kirkland's, started working on the construction documents and, I mean, the soda parlor building out experience is like, could be a podcast within itself, but, so we just learned so much. It was a crash course in like learning how to advocate for yourself with the landlord and like the space that we went into, it was in Marathon Village, and the building is just so cool. It was just such a beautiful old brick warehouse where they used to manufacture cars. And so, from the outside, it looked like it would just be like the perfect scenario. And it ended up just being like such a nightmare to build out. Like the landlord just like didn't do his part. Like there was a hole in the floor for like 6 months. And I was like, I could have just kept working at my other job if I didn't know this was going to start for another 6
Yeah.
months. And, we wanted to open in the summertime. We're doing ice cream at that point, floats and it was pretty much just floats and t-shirts. That's it. And, we ended up opening in October, like the end of October. I think I quit my job in like April. And yeah, so it took like a lot of time. And then by the time we finally, like the space was ready for us to start doing our part, we had about 8 weeks to do the build out. And we did it in 8 weeks. Me, my dad, and our buddy Jake, who was going to work at the parlor with me. We worked like 12, 16-hour days, like laying tile, building out, the displays and pouring concrete countertops and learning how to hook up a soda fountain, which was, supposed to be like DIY install. No way. It was absolutely, like we ended up having to have a professional come out. It was absolutely the most complicated thing on this planet. And then it didn't work. It was like, didn't even work. We were like, the brand that we had, it had like a cooling system like within itself, and that kept freezing up on us. So we had to like rig it so it wouldn't turn on, and then we would just throw ice into the thing like on opening day. And it was just like such a ragtag, like despite all our best efforts, like endeavor. And it was a very small space. It was only like 500 square feet. So it was small. And we ran at that location for about 2 years, and we just, every time Olin would do an event, we would just like blow past occupancy. I was like, the fire marshal is gonna show up one of these days. Like, we've got to figure this out.
So that's what I was curious about, is that when you decided to do this thing, is it all about his YouTube channel?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. And that's kind of like where the brand, so the point at that time, it was Olin Rogers Supply, and he was probably at his peak on YouTube popularity. He's not, he hit 1 million followers like a couple years ago. Like even then it was more quality over quantity for him. And that kind of is like something that's resonated. So that's
my question is like, was the merch just like a side, like a, how do I say this? Like, did he have a brand necessarily that people wanted to have designs or branding that involved him, or was it just like supplemental? You know what I mean? Like some famous people just have like merch that has like their face on it or something, and it's like blah blah blah, and it's like, or was it growing its own brand, kind of like a Johnny Cupcakes or something, where it was like bigger than him? It was its own side thing that people wanted to be a part of.
I think that the angle was the Johnny Cupcakes angle. Like he did designs that were like references to videos or something that he would say, and it also was just a cool T-shirt, and you really didn't have to know who he was.
That's
like
what I'm getting at is like, can it be a standalone thing on its own? Like, can someone in your town walk into the store, not know anything about him, but think the shirt's cool and want to buy it?
Yeah. Yes, and that's why the soda parlor did so well, because there was a lot of foot traffic just in that building alone from tourists, and so they would just come in and buy a T-shirt because it had a cat on it that was dressed like Captain America, and it's like, oh, that's
perfect,
funny and cool. Little did they know it was Olin's cat, and so it's like, we would just do these designs and these collections, spring and fall every year for about 4 years, and it was, it was all made in house. We were really only doing our own stuff and feeding the soda parlor. And then around 2016, we were like, okay, let's like get a bigger space. Let's get bigger. We were kind of sick of our landlord situation there. The building wasn't being really maintained properly. I think one point we had termites, just like larvae, just come out of the walls.
It's such a gross visual to be like, yeah, there's just larva.
Like just this big, a rat one time, and I was like, we got to get out of this place. It was just and it was just not great. It's becoming derelict at this point. When I go by it, I'm like, nothing has been repaired since we moved in.
I do want to touch real quick on the collaboration thing. So was it soda on your own, or was that part of the Jones thing still?
So we did have Jones. So that was the kind of the interesting part. So we didn't really make any of our ice cream. I originally worked with Jenny's. They were great. I love working with Jenny's. Then they had a listeria breakout, and we had to find a new.
Obviously.
Naturally. Then we had to find a new vendor, and I ended up going with a local ice creamery called Mike's Ice Cream.
But it was more of a you were offering this, not necessarily like a partnership or anything like financially. Right. It was you just buying the supplies to have a soda float shop that also had.
And then our soda fountain had main root, and then we had kegs of Sprecher soda. They have all their soda in keg form, and so we had like a Reaper float, an orange dreamsicle, Coke float, and then we would like do specials every once in a while and do something crazy. Right. I think we had one called the 3 broomsticks, and we would use that butterscotch, like Harry Potter-esque soda and vanilla ice cream. We really like geeked out on it. But
let me ask you this too, because this is an interesting topic, and it's kind of relevant for me right now. Is owning this retail spot, and especially like what you have going on right now, do you feel like it's important to a degree to have something that draws customers in that might not necessarily be your brand, like the soda thing? Do you feel like the floats and the soda brought people in so that they could walk around your store, or whatever? Like you might even be like, take your time, I'll make your float, go look around, and you just make it really slowly so that like they have time to like buy and look around. Do you feel like that is a key factor in getting people to even come in the first place?
Yeah. I mean, in the way that I designed the space, so the answer to the question is yes. I always called it like a hybrid retail experience. So it was, if we'd get them with the soda, and then like it wouldn't say T-shirt shop on the outside. It was called the soda parlor, and they're like, "What is this?" And they'd walk in. and we have this like wall of t-shirts, and they're all fun and goofy, and they have to walk past all of that to get to the counter to order.
Yeah.
Much
Exit
like
through the gift shop.
yeah, much like the impulse aisle at a Home Goods. It's like while you're waiting in line, you're going to be looking at a t-shirt, and that was stuff that I learned from my time in corporate retail. And
the best part about some of those stores, like you mentioned, like Home Goods or something, or Michael's, is like they have now the, like, I don't know, waist high shelves that zigzag you through to get to the register. And it's like almost never is there that line full. They're just making you walk through a zigzag of like things that you could buy before you check out.
Yep. The impulse buy. It's a huge point of business. And it's definitely a model that works. And
I think the reason why I'm bringing it up, though,
Yeah.
is just to give you context real quick, is even this last week, like I was live heat pressing in the Gildan booth. It was like Gildan, Comfort Colors, American Apparel, Champion. And for the first 2 days, they had a coffee shop. So like the theme of the booth was like coffee. So like all the branding, everything was all coffee. And it was awesome because there was like a huge line of people every day trying to get coffee. But the cool thing was is they would see me heat pressing and they would tell me what they wanted. I would make it while they were in line getting coffee and everything else. And it was great because the goal was to get them apparel. You know what I mean? Get them interested in seeing and feeling and whatever. But the coffee was like the initial, I don't need to know anything about branding. I don't need to know anything. They would literally smell coffee from aisles away and be like, I want that. I'm going to go there. But then everything else happened because they were in the booth. And then also too, in my building, I run out of space to this couple that basically they sell. It's kind of like Chip and Joanna Gaines, where they like redo furniture and they have all this like stuff that's like that kind of vibe or whatever. But what they did is they put a cafe in, like a full on cafe. And I feel like the cafe, in my opinion, is like 90% of their business, because, well, not they're making money in the store, but it draws everybody to the store. Like it gives people a reason to go there daily or, weekly or something. Like it gives people a reason to keep coming back. And then I'm noticing now too, like Jared at Rockford has like a coffee shop in his retail spot. And I just feel like it's something to get people to constantly keep coming to your store, which is awesome. Like it might not be the thought when you first do it. You're just kind of like, oh, it'd be cool to have a coffee shop. But I feel like it's got to have a huge benefit to the store. Like what can other people have in their place other than, food and beverage to draw people in daily?
No, I 100%. Like that was our goal from the get-go was, like, are you just going to walk into a t-shirt shop whenever you don't need a t-shirt? No, but hey, I might want a craft soda. And so, or I might want like a root beer float. You don't get that really just anywhere. And so it 100% worked. We'd have, I would say it was about 50-50 on like soda and merch sales. If we were having a low day on soda, it would be a high day in merch or vice versa. It was like one or the other.
Right.
And it very much balanced out. Like seasonally, it also was really great with the print shop as well that was being managed by our partner at the time. Like the soda parlor would peak in the summer, and then we'd have a peak Q4 in printing. And so it would kind of like balance each other out, even with like the screen printing business. So like the retail was diversified, but it also like diversified our screen printing business as well. So it gave us something to supply in the summertime. And
so let's go back to your story when you opened the store and you finally get things going. When was screen printing always a part of it, or did that not come until later?
Yeah, so at that point, the printing partner that we had, he was living in California, and so he would just ship us stuff whenever we needed it. At that point, and the soda parlor started doing really well. And about a year after we opened the soda parlor, he moved to Nashville, brought the shop with him, and we opened up the shop here. And so it was very much like I just had to go pick it up from the shop, and we had our offices there, and Olin Rudder Supply, which is what it was at the time, was still doing its for spring and fall merch drops that were sort of like fed by Olin's YouTube. And then we used the soda parlor a lot for him to do, like, we would do fan appreciation nights, and we'd give away floats for free for the entire night. And they would just be like colossal sales and t-shirts every time that we did that. And it was really working. It was just like such a great way to, like, for him to interact with the fans. That was, he would meet and talk to everyone at these things. And
as a business question on top of that, which kind of sparked just now, is like, when do you do those and feel like you're not taking advantage of people? Like, it's just a purely business sense of it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to be like, oh, cool, we had a huge boom from having a meet and greet or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You don't want to be like, let's do a meet and greet every week. You know what I mean? Because then it's like, you're just sucking money out of people. Like, is it something where you're like, well, I can do it quarterly and it works? Or is it twice a year? Like, how does it work where you feel like it's for the fans, not necessarily for the business, but you want it to be for the business to a degree because it makes money?
Yeah. I think we maybe did them quarterly. I don't know if we ever mainly, and that was honestly because they were just so much work. And we were giving floats away for free. So there was definitely like if you come, you're going to get something for free, aspect to it.
Well, that's cool because it's kind of more giving than taking.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it was very tough on Olin, as much as he loves talking to people, like talking to 300 people in one night, is, and he was having real conversations with me. It wasn't just like, hey, let's do a picture and then like move along. He was like hanging out with these people. And then scooping 2 scoops of ice cream, 600 at minimum scoops of ice cream. I mean, I think I bruised my sternum on one of the events from like scooping, like the ice cream had got delivered that day, so it hadn't had time to soften out of deep freeze, and I just like completely just injured myself trying.
You're a member of a small group doing that, I feel like.
Yeah. And so, my wrists are just from scooping ice cream and screen printing alone are just like absolutely fucked. And,
I feel like there's gotta be like an auger drill bit for something where you can get ice cream out of a thing quick. You know what I mean? Like a 2 scoop pull and then it drops in. You know what I mean? You'd be like, done.
Yeah, I've looked at all the different scoops over the years. I mean, it is just getting in there and doing
just elbow grease and sternum bruising.
Elbow grease and dipping it in water. Like, that's it. That's really the main thing. But yeah, so it did really well. Like, it was doing really well. We wanted to expand and go bigger. The print shop was now in Nashville at that time. We were kind of like, I think, on cloud 9, and so
everything was working.
Yeah, everything was working. So we opened up. So we decided to move to East Nashville, in like this popular area called 5 Points, and we moved into a new build construction, and it was 5,000 square feet, went to 2,000. So it was a big jump for me as far as like construction and space planning and all that. I did another build out. We had to pour concrete floors this time. We built more furniture. It was a bigger landlord, so it was even more sort of like stringent as far as like timelines and when we had to start paying rent. And so I learned like, okay, maybe the small landlord's okay for some degree, but like the big corporate landlords, like, great in some regards because they actually do meet their deadlines.
They might have their shit together a little bit more.
I mean, yes and no, because like all the stud walls in this like brand new space where none of them were crowned, so they were just like wavy, and we had to like fur out everything and like level like this new construction. So, But, I think we did it in about the same amount of time as the last build out. It was bigger, but I had more people this time helping. And we opened
were all of the moves of this place strategic in the sense of like we're growing or it's a better location, or was it for some other reason?
It was better location, sort of better landlord situation, growth, like more space for events so that we're not like, breaking fire marshal laws with occupancy. Right. And then, overall just like being in, I think it really was like just being in a better area. We're all like East Nashville. We all lived in East Nashville, and like that's like at that time like the cool hip part of town. And while I was working on the build out, simultaneously Olin had done an animated pilot on his YouTube, and it was called Final Space. And he put that up on YouTube at like 1 a.m. Someone on Conan O'Brien's like Conoco team saw it and like reached out like 2 days later, and we're like, Conan really likes this. They want to help you make this into a TV show. And then like by the time we were done building out, TBS had offered a series deal with him, straight to series, animated television show deal to him, and he had to move to LA mid build out and start working on that. I
just want to say real quick, Conan is my all-time favorite.
He's one of the best human beings in Hollywood. I
love and admire Conan.
He is a good person. And every interaction that we had with him, he had Olin on his show, which he didn't have to do. I mean, it was a very small, it's a season 1 animated television show. Like he didn't have to have Olin on the show, but he did have him on there. And I just was like backstage, just like crying. Mm-hmm. Like it's such a magical experience. And he was just so genuine and nice. And then, we would see him at Comic-Con, like we would do Comic-Con events with him. And he also voice acted on Olin's show. And yeah, like Team Coco, they're all great people. They were very big advocates for Olin through that 3-season sort of venture. And so I have nothing bad to say about those people, about them. Now, in general, the rest of Hollywood. But Conan is a light amongst the darkness over there.
So what does that do? What does that do for you guys when all of that happens? Because that kind of has to be a bigger jump to more of a mainstream audience instead of just a YouTube channel. Does that do anything for the store? Does that do anything for your brand?
I mean, it was colossal for the brand. I mean, we ended up getting the only license to do merchandise for the show, which is kind of wild. Usually creators don't get licenses for their show in Hollywood because of George Lucas and his legendary, ownership of all toys and merchandise for Star Wars. No network ever wants to make that mistake again. Can't let the creator make any money.
Yeah.
So I get the soda parlor open. The second location, we have Olin gets the first season done. We have the premiere party at the soda parlor. And like we formed some really great relationships. We have with the marketing team of the show, the head of marketing for it her name is Jez. Shout out to Jez. She is a champion. And she got this like huge inflatable, there's a character in the show called Mooncake. Let's see if I can, he looks like this. But she made a giant inflatable dome where we watched with a screen in it, and we like did that, and then afterwards we had the after party at the soda parlor. And we had Final Space merch. It was a really cool experience. It was great for the brand. It was really hard on me physically and personally because that meant I was that same year that we opened the parlor, me and Olin got engaged. I was flying back and forth between Nashville and LA, running the soda parlor, trying to maintain a relationship. He was starting a new television show, was under a lot of stress. It was very like so many great things happening, but also like an incredibly stressful time.
Yeah, it's a lot to deal with mentally.
Yeah. And then, about, 2018, the summer of 2018, we moved the screen printing business into a bigger space that we're in right now, that I'm at right now. And our partner at the time was just like, I'm done. And
well, I was going to say, like, I didn't want to interrupt and turn the conversation or anything, but hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the episode so far. I just want to ask real quick if you are liking what's going on or you want to take a second to just comment on the episode so far. That would mean a lot to me. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button real quick. It goes so far for the show. So thank you guys. Enjoy the rest of the episode. See ya. I wanted to bring it back to the screen printing side of it real quick. And the relationship for that was you just had a guy that I'm guessing he was friends with, or you guys were friends with, that just printed merch. And because it seems weird to use somebody that's basically in California when you're in Nashville to print your stuff and send it all, especially for like a retail thing. So was it always like a buddy who owned a print shop that kind of just you guys had space for and it worked out well and you were together, and then all of a sudden, like, were you paying him like full on normal invoices, or was it some other kind of deal?
he was a 50-50 business partner with my husband.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, with the brand and the soda parlor. And so, so it was very much like we're in this like venture together. We're doing these things together. He handled a lot of the financials, and and my role was to handle the soda parlor, which was a pretty big role. And a full blown retail and restaurant. So yeah, he we amicably parted ways. That's what I'm supposed to say legally.
I understand.
And in that amicable separation, the print shop was literally just like unloaded from the truck. The presses weren't even put together. And I had never screen printed a day in my life. So at that, I'd been absorbing, I'm an observant person. So I learned by watching. So I had already been exposed to it as much as, anyone who is around screen printing could be. So I had an understanding of how it worked, but I never actually.
Well, you're a smart person and you're hands-on with a lot of things. So I feel like you kind of got the gist of it. You just might not have had all the sciencey stuff behind it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And so, it became mine to take care of. Right before all that kind of went down, I was pretty much ready to move to LA full time. I had pretty much set up the soda parlor to kind of run with me just checking on it. I had a GM in place, an assistant manager in place. We had all of our like checklist and our scheduling, and like everything was sort of like worked out where I could like really be remote with it. And, I wanted to live in the same city as my husband.
Obviously.
And, yeah, I mean, how dare I? And so, yeah, so that I had to put that. I mean, that just never happened. Like I just never was able to move out there full time. And
well, let me ask you this question real quick: is if the main consumer of your things are online or are just because of the show, did it really have anything to do with Nashville? Like, why not just move everything to LA and just live there and have a store there?
It was definitely something that was considered a lot. It's just financially, we didn't realize where the company was until after that split happened, and I had to. Essentially, the profits were getting. It wasn't great. Things were good. Right. That's like. And so I had to essentially like repair, like really roll my sleeves up and like restructure everything. I sort of got like really dug into the screen printing side of it, and operationally it was just a disaster. you know, it was just silly things like not knowing, like no one knew how to export an Excel doc from Shopify to like make
That
orders. They were
damn
copying
that
and
damn
pasting
Excel. Why did we not learn that in high school?
and it's just stuff like that. I just had to go, oh, what is this operation? I had to build an operation from like literally a disassembled shop, and
Yeah.
then whilst not like learning how to screen print and like how it's supposed to be done while we had orders coming in and we had a license to do network television merch, and like I wanted to, to continue to feed the soda parlor with merch. And so it was just like
Yeah.
it was an absolute amicable mess. And
Well, like you
it was
said,
bad.
at this point you had a GM and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Did they take on some of these burdens, or were you just more like me, basically, where I kind of take on way too much for myself and I don't like to delegate until I personally don't like to delegate anything until it's like figured out in my brain to where
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, this person totally can handle this because I know what it takes or I know what it's involved.
It was a balance of the two. I was definitely like I had printers, so they knew how to print. I had like 3 printers at the time, and I was like, okay, well, you guys just like put the machine together and start printing. I'll figure out everything else, like all the other stuff. And so I kind of like worked my way to screen printing from the top down, which is,
Mm-hmm.
I think, backwards, but I don't know. I mean, it's just how I had to do it. So I was, started handling all the business stuff, like all the financials, like making sure like payroll is being run, like all that stuff. And yeah, it was a tough like 2 years there, sort of leading up to the penultimate or the ultimate season finale, which was 2020,
Yeah.
when the soda parlor was hit by a tornado. Um,
Wait, like
and
a literal tornado?
yeah, yeah. Well, I'm getting emotional.
It's okay. Take your time. It's a lot. We're going through everything you had to go through.
This is a therapy session.
Yeah, for sure.
um,
Just so you know, I feel the exact same way you feel with all the things that I've had to go through. I'm just really good at pushing them down.
I'm not. That's the thing is like I'll boss up and I'll get shit done, but I might cry through the
Oh,
entire.
I'll cry later, but it'll be into a pillow in a room by myself.
Yeah, no, I there is no controlling over my tears. It's the worst. Yeah, so yeah, I got hit by a tornado. I was actually in Los Angeles when it happened. I was having like a really good day. I was having a good day hanging out with my girlfriend, Zoya. She's just her husband, Mike Falzone. He's a comedian, and Zoya's just she's just such a great person. And we were hanging out that day, and we started the day with breakfast, and she was like, I'm worried about you. She was
Mm-hmm.
like, you're doing too much. You're not okay. And I was like, you're right. Not okay. I am doing way too much. And, it ended the night going to one of Mike's shows. And I was like 7 gin and tonics in, and my phone started blowing up. And, my mother-in-law my in-laws live in Nashville. I'm fogging up. Called me and was like, there's a tornado headed your way. And I was like, I'm actually not there, but let me make sure that, all the employees are out, or like that they've gotten, to the
Yeah.
middle of the building. It was around midnight, so they shouldn't have been there. Like everyone had already left for the night. And, but yeah, I mean, we direct hit. It went right through 5 Points in East Nashville. I mean, it took out a lot of small businesses, and I was back in town by noon the next day. Our safe was, we knew that the neighbors had been looted. Their safe had been looted. I was so worried. If like all the cash that we had that we really actually needed to like do that week's payroll was still in there. My assistant manager had actually been out of town that day, and so she hadn't done the deposit yet, and I was so worried that, they had found the safe. Luckily, we hid it like really well. My dad like hid it really well and like all of our stuff, and it was like behind a bunch of stuff.
It's
So
like
we didn't
behind a
find it.
painting, and you gotta have a code, and it's in the wall.
So luckily, our cash was still there. I about got arrested from the cops just like running into this like half built, like half torn down building, just trying to like get to the safe. It was a full loss. Insurance did a full, I had
Was this you said during COVID or right around the same time?
It was the week before lockdown.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like a double punch.
Yeah, the double punch came when part of me was like really relieved that I didn't have to run it through COVID.
Well, yeah, I guess it could be a blessing too, because it gives you time to get everything 100%. Together.
But at the same time, insurance denied our business interruption coverage because we wouldn't be open otherwise because of COVID. So the ongoing bills that still exist when your building is gone, like loans and credit cards and all that stuff, weren't covered.
Yeah.
And we were also underinsured. I had done a lot of upgrades over the years to the shop, to the soda parlor, and I just made the mistake of not upping the insurance every time I did it. Mainly who wants to pay more.
Well, now you're making me feel guilty for my statement earlier about how insurance is a scam when someone actually needs
bad. It. Yeah, it's bad. So it was rough. A lot of the employees that I did have at the soda parlor at the time were seasonal. We paid them out for the rest of the month, for that month of their what they were scheduled. And then anyone that we could still pay came over to Cadet and became a print shop employee. And we just dug in here and just started trying to like really make the merch business like stand on its own 2 feet without the soda parlor revenue and without the retail revenue. Was
that
a tough year.
Real quick, I want to dive into a couple things, but the print shop and the business and the retail and all of that, what happened when the tornado came? Was that a full stop, we have to rebuild the building, or was it just repairs? What was involved? Was it a quick get back up on our feet? Like, how long did it take?
Well, our lease got canceled immediately on the soda parlor because the building was absolutely uninhabitable. So we salvaged what we could out of it. That all went into the basement here at the shop. But luckily, the shop it wasn't located in the same neighborhood as the soda parlor. It's
okay. So that's where I'm confused. Is I was thinking it was all in the same spot.
No. So they are separate. They're separate buildings.
Okay.
Yeah. So the shop was okay, thank God. We've had a few near misses in the last 2 years with tornadoes, which we'll get later on. The irony of when they happened is, anyways.
Take a deep breath. It's okay. Yeah. Take some of those beta blockers.
Yeah, I already did. Don't worry, I'm already on it.
So with the print shop, does that have its own, I guess, staffing for customer service or anything? Or is that more just you guys are using the print shop to print your own stuff? Or are you getting print shop orders a roofer or a local company or something? Are you guys printing stuff? How does that work?
In 2020, it was predominantly our own sales, and at that point we had become Cadet, the brand. We tried to move even more further away from just depending on Olin and his work, even though we had the license for Final Space. It was kind of simultaneously happening where we're we don't want to be Olin Rogers Supply anymore. That's just too much about it put way too much of a burden on him to continue, and so that sort of allowed it to be more of a standalone brand. And then it fed the soda parlor. It printed for the soda parlor. And then we had occasional client work where we would kind of do merch for people here and there. But at that time, it was really just to like feed itself. And so once we left the soda parlor, we were like, wow, that's like, $600,000 in revenue that just like gone.
Vanished. Yeah.
And yeah, so we were like, okay, luckily at that point, Final Space was in its second season. The fandom had really dug in. It was on Netflix internationally, not in the US. But so Final Space merch sales were huge for us. And that was really what sustained us through the next 3 years, till we kind of like were able to pivot ourselves to be who we are now. Yeah, and
so
now
then
we do.
I guess dive into what you do. What does the place look like now as far as post COVID and getting ripped up by a tornado and all of this? Like, where are you in the same building? Everything's the same. It's just rebuilt and ready to go and revamped, or?
Yeah, so the print shop, luckily we didn't have any tornado damage here. So it's still the same building. And at that point, we sort of pivoted towards, okay, we've been doing this for ourselves, like for a while. We know what we're doing. We can take this sort of model, which is, you have the creator and then they're doing the work. That's the key to success, I find, in merch sales, is that you have a creator that is doing the work and is building the audience. And then you bring in the merch or the brand. It's kind of like the best example is like Michael Jordan. You didn't get Air Jordans before Michael Jordan was Michael Jordan, right? He had to do the work in order for that brand to become what it was. And so that's like ideally the client that we're looking for. I'm a little bit Jerry Maguire about it, like quality over quantity. I want to spend a lot of time with these people. I want to really understand their brand. And that doesn't always equal like tons of revenue for us, but it also, I don't want to make merch just to like slap a logo on something that no one wants, right? And just like continue to feed this like monster that is just like marathon t-shirts and like, just like, I don't want to do those. I want to curate like hoodies and t-shirts and like other goods for people who are, watching a YouTube channel and they just like this creator is very much a part of their lives now.
I feel like you like the side of it where it's almost like you're an agency, like a creative agency, and you're trying to put out like really creative, good stuff and taking your background of, all the other things that you did, but then also offer that now to other people. But it's like, again, like you said, it's not like just a bunch of shit to make money. Like it's more like, hey, this is meaningful. This works. Let's take the time and energy. Cause we've talked about this before. The podcast was just kind of like, wanting to have the best quality and not just, let's quickly get this done. So
yeah, and so that's kind of like where we're at now. I have, a handful of mostly YouTube channels or creators. I'm really slowly making my way through the paranormal community. I've become the paranormal t-shirt person. I work with Project Fear, which is one of our biggest clients, and they're just some of the best people I've ever worked with, just genuinely. So like we just have a lot of fun. And they're fan, like I'm kind of like a lateral member of the group now, like even in their like exclusive Fear Club, like everyone thinks my name is Star, which I'm like, that's fine.
It could be worse.
And I share behind the scene footages of like printing their merch for them and that kind of stuff. And I really like to become sort of like a member of the fandom. And so like when I I'm mostly pursuing the people I want to work with at this point. Like, so if I
Right.
start liking something, I have the illness where I must work with them. And so
I
that's
have
kind of
that.
how
I have
Project
that
Fear.
too, but it's also that
Yeah.
double-edged sword of when they ignore you or don't want to work with you that you get let down.
Yeah, you're like, that hurt my feelings. I like,
Yeah.
yeah, but and I have like a running list of people where I'm like, one day
Yep.
we're
Same.
gonna make cool shit for them, and I just,
Call that my Dream 100 list. I
yeah,
can't remember
yeah,
where I learned that from somebody, but I've talked about it a long time ago on the show where it was kind of like, have your Dream 100 list. And because I think there's a lot, like in the conversation we're having right now is like, you see some of these companies where you're like, there's no way they're ever going to work with me. But you're like, I know they get merch from somewhere. I know they have someone
yeah,
they deal with, but like,
yeah,
why can't it be me? You know what I mean?
yep,
But it seems
hmm,
so unattainable. But if you make this list, like even if you're scrolling through Instagram or driving down the street or whatever it is, like make notes of these places and then start.
hmm,
Like if you're already a fan, the reason why it stands out to you is because you're a fan in some capacity of this company or this brand or whatever it
yeah,
is. Like make note of it and then maybe like comment on their stuff and like become like more connected with them to where you're available when something happens. Like they might
yeah,
post something one day of like in need of merch or we're thinking about this design or something, and then that gives you
yeah,
an in to have a conversation, a knowledgeable
yeah,
conversation on the topic. But also like make a kit, make a box, send it to them, be like,
yes,
hey, I saw that you're really
hmm,
into, I don't know, fucking
hmm,
panda bears or something, and like you make them a kit that's like, here's
yeah,
this, but then also here's like playing cards or fun things that I think you would like with a handwritten note. And then you never know. Like I have some customers that I've had in the past where that's what it was. It was like I was swinging for the fences and I got it. And it was just because
hmm,
you never know. Like you literally never know what's
yeah,
going to happen.
yeah, and that's honestly like how Project Fear came to be our client. Like we did a spec collection, and they were like, "Oh, this is so much better than what we've done with Printful," and I was like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah.
And it's like,
I mean,
but
that's a whole nother
not,
conversation though, too, is
mm-hmm,
I've done a lot of stuff for like these comedians and whatever. And I feel like a lot of them don't have merch or don't know how to handle merch or
mm-hmm,
don't want to have to bring boxes around or travel with stuff or whatever. And a lot of them rely on these like on demand places, but they
mm-hmm,
don't do the research. They don't do whatever. They're just like, okay, well, we're going to find an online place that is just going to make me stuff on demand. It's going to be DTG or whatever it is. And
mm-hmm,
it's okay. But the thing is, what they end up getting is they get DMs from people that are like, hey, I bought your merch online. I got it. I opened the bag. It just reeked of vinegar, had like, pre-treat stains on it, or the print fell off or whatever. I'm not trying to knock print on demand. I'm just saying that there's a difference between like a quality thing that we're trying to do versus like hey, we
mm-hmm,
can quickly get this out of the door tomorrow. Someone will order it online tonight. It'll go out the door tomorrow. There's a difference
mm-hmm.
in quality there with like a bulk order, a screen print or something versus a quick hurry up, get it out. And they come to find out, hey, I really like that quality. I really like when my customers are stoked to wear these
Happy.
things and have issues and
Mm-hmm.
be happy. So that's an in.
I think I think Printful has its place in the beginning stages of being a creator and like building your audience. I think it's great to test if your audience is an audience that buys merch. I think like
Yeah.
do go that route. And if you sell 5 t-shirts and you realize that your fandom is just your parents and like their friends, then you need to do more work. You know what I mean? You got to
Right.
do more work to
Don't
build a
go out and buy
fandom
a
before.
bulk order of 1,000 t-shirts for your mom and her
Exactly.
friends.
I've actually refused to do print runs for people where they're like, I want to, I'm starting the YouTube channel and I want to do merch. And I'm like, have you done the YouTube channel yet? I'm like, do that first. You don't talk, you don't need me yet. Like, this is not a good use of your money at this stage. Put it into doing the work first. And, that's probably not good for my bottom line, but I don't want to give people t-shirts that are just going to sit in a box and never get sold.
I'm fully on board with that. And I've had that conversation with clients too before, where it's like, the truth of it is you're being a good person, but you're also looking out for the business too, because if you point them in the right direction now, so say you do have somebody you know full well, it's their mom and their friends that are going to order stuff or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If you tell them like, hey, go this Printful route, see it, test it, do whatever, don't give me your business now, they're going to realize that you were right at some point. They're going to realize
Mm-hmm.
that like, oh, this doesn't working, whatever. And the very first thing when they need an actual bulk amount of stuff, they're going to come back to you because they trust that you're going to put their needs first. You know what I mean? They're going to know that
Right.
that's whatever. I've had the discussion where it's kind of like tax season and someone wants to start a clothing line and it's like, oh, I got $4,000 to spend. I'm going to blow every dime of it on their last name across the front of the shirt or something. I'm like, dude,
No one
nobody's
wants
going to
that.
buy these.
No one wants
Nobody
that.
is buying these. You are going to give me $4,000 and I'm going to print these and then you're going to have $4,000 worth of merch sitting in your basement and you're going to end up taking them to Goodwill. Like, I would rather
Yeah.
you spend $800 on like a couple small orders and test the waters and see what happens.
Mhm.
And then come back to me when you're like, okay, this works, than to just blow
Exactly.
all your money. Like I could take your money, yes, but then I lost a customer for forever. You know
Yep.
what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not going to come back.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And, you know, and something happened in the ether of, you know, online creatives and influencer culture and all this stuff where everyone sort of like got it backwards. You know, they saw someone having a successful brand and they're like, I want a brand. And it's like, yeah, but why? Why does anyone want to buy that?
Yeah.
Like, people work very hard for their money. And unless you are, you know, a creator that is giving them quality content and entertainment, like, you're not going to get the reciprocation from your audience. It's just not going to happen. And it's also really hard to sell things. Like, I don't think people realize how hard it is to sell people things that they don't need. And that's the fact of the matter is that, you know, like, and it's something that like sort of again like stops the spiral when I get really down on myself is like I'm not trying to save the world. I'm just doing hoodies and t-shirts, and you know, I think we can make a positive impact on people's lives by, you know, having a good experience. But at the same time, like, this is not something I didn't go into healthcare because I didn't want to save people's lives or, you know, have people's lives at stake, and I can't treat this that way. And you know, it is a very, merch is a really great way for creatives to supplement their art. And that's what we did for ourselves with it. And that's what it can do for other people. Then you get the ones that are really, really lucky in between where it starts to live outside of them. But that is so rare. It has to be paired with the work. You can't do it without the work of building the audience.
But I think you said it really well too, is, you know, the t-shirt and the hoodie and the quality and doing things that matter instead of just regurgitating stuff to put it out there or whatever is important. Because I mean, for me and a lot of print shop owners, and I mean, you too, I guess, like, what do you wear for the most part? Like, are you wearing blanks? You're like, hey, like, I really like this blank, I'm going to wear this blank. But then when you wear something that has a print on it, it's only because it's meaningful. You know what I mean? It's something that you're into or like. And I feel like that's what a lot of people miss is these shirts that we're printing for people aren't just some bullshit that they're going to put on. A lot of times it's their identity. Like, I wouldn't wear necessarily like a Barbie shirt because I'm like, I love Barbies. Like, I would wear something that's meaningful to me. Like right now I have this, you know, Palm Springs shirt on that Glenn and Ashley gave me, and I brought it with me because I'm here at their house right now. But like, it's meaningful to me because like a close friend like sent this to me and I've been here, and it makes me think of when I was here and everything. Like, that's the reason why I wear it. Like, people are wearing merch from your husband's show because it's meaningful to them and they love it and they like to watch it and things like that. So there's an emotional connection to these things. And then when they wear them out in the wild, people can spot them and be like, oh, they're into that show. I like that show too. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
funny. It's funny. We had this like emotional, couple times in this episode where we're talking about how this stuff is meaningful to us and how it fills us with anxiety and all these other things because we want it to be successful and we want it to grow and we want to do all these things because it's our baby, it's our thing.
Mhm.
And I think that's the point of all of this is, like this is a therapy thing for me too. Like doing Shirt Show is like talking about all of these things. And again, like the positivity thing and talking to you today has been meaningful to me because I've kind of been in my own head over the last like week about things and not being at the shop and being away for 2 weeks and like really wanting to, January is one of those times where it's slow and it's like, I just want to be at it and I want to be working towards it and I want to be doing stuff. But like, I also need the time to recharge. Like I need
Mhm.
these 2 weeks to just like do something else and whatever. And it's funny, Christina went and before this, I got on with you. She was like, I'm going to go get breakfast and come back or whatever. And she brought me iced tea and I've been drinking it throughout this episode, this Starbucks right here. And as you were talking about like meaningful things, I turned the cup and I realized that it said, "You matter" on the Starbucks cup.
It's the
Like,
little things, man. Yeah. I mean, it's just like it, there's like such a like just juxtaposition to like what we do because it's like we are like we live in this capitalist society where we're like feeding the machine and we're like part of it, and but at the same time, like, and even for myself, when I have these interactions with fans and they're like, yeah, this, when I watched this, it got me through a really tough time. And, and you're just like, that's what it's about. It's about getting
yeah,
people through these tough times. It's like, Olin has, that's sort of over the years been like, every time I interact with a fan, they're like, yeah, I was going through a really tough time and I started watching Final Space and it just like gave me an escape. And, and as like content creators, as people who are making things for people to watch, and consume, it's like that's all you could ever ask for. And so when we make merch for these creatives or for Olin, it like, you want, like, people are buying it because of that moment in their life where they were like, this really got me through something. And then
yeah,
when I
yeah, for
wear
sure.
this, it makes me feel better because it's connected, and that like makes it more than just a hoodie and more than just a t-shirt. And that's whenever you can like really, as a business owner, and you're doing this and you're in this realm where you're not just, for me, where I don't want to do the throwaway t-shirt print jobs. I want to do this. It also makes it incredibly hard because like it is just t-shirts.
Right.
And you're like, oh my God, like I want to care, but I can't care too much because it will destroy my health. And so it's just such a juxtaposition. It's such a balancing act as
Yeah,
a
yeah.
small business owner.
I get it.
But I do love it. I do love it.
So where are things today? How are things now? I mean, we kind of went through all these tough times and growth. But the thing is, from an outsider perspective, all of this story was kind of like you still do like have a great trajectory of growth and moving into new spots and all these other things. It's just you had a lot of things to happen that are like real hard situations to get through. But I feel like from what I've been hearing, they're making you stronger and better and more focused.
Yeah, I think sometimes I think that they haven't made me stronger, that like because I went through this thing, I'm like, well, then nothing else should happen, then more shit happens, and you're like, but I've already gone through this thing, and
But
so it makes it
you're
sort of,
still here. Like
yeah,
you're still,
yeah,
I, my mindset nowadays is one day at a time. Like I
yeah,
feel like I get
hmm,
so overwhelmed with the business or with personal matters or whatever, but it's like, what is actually happening to me today? Like, what do I have to get through today to make today a good day?
hmm.
Is it going to lunch with friends? Is it, getting some emails out or some jobs done or some quotes done that really fulfill me and make me happy? And then bills are paid. And then it's like, cool, I can watch a movie and go to bed. And today was successful. I did it today.
Right.
What's tomorrow
Yeah,
going to
it
look like?
really is. It is a one day at a time thing right now. I was reading something that like millennials perceive time differently than most people generations do. And I was like, that is exactly how I feel. I'm always running out of time, but but there's too much time. And it's just like, and so I,
Time's not real.
yeah, it's really not. But it's also running out. And
Yeah. I get it. I'm aware. Yeah.
but like, yeah, I mean, I think, I want to continue on this, path that we're on with, building these, clothing lines or brands for creatives who are putting in the work to build the fandoms. Those are actually, they're hard. They're actually a rarity. I think they're a diamond in the
The rough.
I don't know. Yeah, rough. Yeah. To quote Aladdin, and but I think this year I'm going to try to. We've done licensing in the past. Like I did Star Trek Next Generation merch. I've done regular show merch. We did Final Space merch. So I think I'm going to try to venture down into some licensing, and I actually like targeting Major League Soccer. That's kind of like my big goal. And then
That's so
I have a
weird.
list.
I was not
Yeah.
expecting that at all. You were like, here's TV shows, pop culture, Comic-Con, soccer.
Yeah, it's community based because I really lost community when I lost the soda parlor. I feel like I lost my foot in, like, I was a contributing business owner. Not that I'm not with this print shop, but I'm not interacting with the public
Right.
on a day-to-day basis and like in person. And so inevitably Olin show it got 3 seasons and then it was canceled after the 3rd season. And we moved back full time to Nashville in 2023, I think. Yeah. And so we're here full time now. And we have a couple of ventures going on. We did essentially rebuild the soda parlor as a mobile food truck. So we have that sort of like ready to go. It's really a matter of like carving out the time to start doing pop-ups. He is able to finish the story of Final Space via a graphic novel, which he has completed, and it's at the printers right now. I have a black and white version. You can kind of see it here. But it's a big old graphic novel.
That's awesome.
I'll send you one.
Yeah, I would love that.
It has a recap of the first 3 seasons in here as well. So if you've never watched the show,
I'm definitely going to now.
Kind of get a. Yeah, it's not, you can't stream it anywhere. It was one of the things that Warner deleted, but I'll send you the illegal link where you can stream it. And
I got a sidebar question on this real quick, and I feel like with the way that entertainment is now, because I'm watch a lot of movies and shows and stuff, but I feel like there's a lot of them too that I watch on YouTube, where it's like a full on show, like. Everything's the same as it would be if I watched it on Motor Trend or on Netflix or whatever.
Better, actually. Yeah.
Right. And it's better because it's them. There's this show that I used to, and the funny thing is I'm not like a mechanic. I'm not really great with like engines or anything like this, but for some reason I gravitate some of my energy towards, there's a show called Roadkill that I loved. And I still do, but it was a YouTube show. It was basically like 2 guys would buy a car on Craigslist in, 5 states over or something. Mm-hmm. And they would get there, see the car, get in it, 2 buddies, and they would drive it back. But the thing is, it would break down a ton of times on the side of the road, and they would be like wrenching on it, like in a parking lot, and they would fix it. But it was so raw and genuine because it was just like literally GoPros in the car, shit would happen, they would fix it, whatever. And then it got picked up by Motor Trend. And then it was like on Motor Trend. And then you noticed it getting polished and like more like there was committees involved in conversation on like how shows should be.
Executive
and whatever.
Notes.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it was still good. It was still good, but you could tell that it had that like commercial sense to it. And then it went away and then it went back on YouTube. But the thing is those guys have their own shows on YouTube now where it's back to being raw. And it's like, it's so much better because of, but that's where I'm wondering with him, like, is he having a YouTube background being like, fuck yeah, let's do a full on show now that I've learned what I've learned from the big boys. Like, let's just do a YouTube show.
Yeah, so he has, I mean, he still has his main YouTube channel. He's not as active on there mainly. He's actually an executive over at Glitch Animation, which is a animated YouTube channel. He's headed the development over there. And so he's been doing that while he's been working on the graphic novel, but he also has he's done a few animation pilots that are sort of like trying to get the funding to then become like YouTube series. It's just the fact that animation is like it costs so much money to do. So yes, and the and definitely on the topic of YouTube and I've as of late really only watch YouTube because it's just so much more, I don't know, like, yeah, like you said, it's real. Like I've really I'm like watching everyone who's remodeling chateaus in France right now. And
makes sense.
I can't stop. Like I have to, like I'm finding every single one of them. And it's so interesting because, you know, we grew up with like HGTV and it was always just like, and in 2 days we did this beautiful review, and you don't see any of like there was dry rot in the floor. I want to see that. I want to see them repair
you get that on the
yeah.
YouTube. Yeah. You get the person in the background being like, well, I actually screwed this up. I did this whole project. I screwed it all up. You don't get that on TV because it's so polished and so whatever. Right. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I deal with that with certain clients too, where it's like, oh, we can't show this. We can't. It's just like, that's what I want. That's what the people want. That's what all of this stuff matters. And I don't know. I just think that, like you said too, like YouTube, I consume so much of it because that's part of my routine in the morning when I get to the shop is like, I have a breakfast sandwich. I have an iced tea. I'll watch my favorite, 4 or 5 videos. I watch a lot of like behind the scenes movie stuff. I watch a lot of SciShow stuff, like science, like what's going on in the universe. What have they learned this year? What did they figure out? And then it's just like, yeah, it might be like Colin Furze building his underground bunker or something. You know what I mean? It's like, that's what I'm into. I'm here for. So I was just curious if like his leaving that, thing was turning into something else now, which is pushing you guys in a different direction, or is it in a point now with your guys' business and, Star Cadet, all these other things, you don't, not to say this, I'm not meaning this in a negative way at all, where like he doesn't have to constantly be relevant in order for this other stuff to grow?
I think we're both kind of in that sort of like a tipping point where, I can't speak too much for him, but like, I know that I personally would rather die than become an influencer at this point in my life. Like if I could like never be on Instagram or Facebook and like never share anything about my life ever again, I would be like happy. Like, I just want to support the people who are brave. I want to support people who are brave enough to like put themselves out there and like have some shithead comment and be like, you look fat today. And it's like, I can't be that person that receives that energy. And so for me, even though like having a business is like, you have to like, I wouldn't have a Facebook if I didn't have a business, it's like, I wouldn't have Instagram if I didn't have a business. And it's like, it's part of the game and I'll keep playing it, but like I've really found out that like I just want to help support the people who have the thick enough skin to be out there and being the face of things. And I think Olin is still that way, but I think he's still, I do think he is also seeking like a little bit of anonymity and like sort of like, once this graphic novel is done, he's like, I really just like don't want to post on social media. He's like, I just need, and I think peace has become a very important thing in our life. And, you can't always have that if you're constantly interacting on the internet, because the internet is just so mean and dark and
Yeah. I fully
unfiltered.
understand. And I think that's the
Yeah.
hard thing that I mean, me personally, like I was really hard into social media and whatever for years and years because I had to for the business. I also liked it. Like I liked the
Yeah.
interaction and the growth and whatever. But the hard part is that you do that for so long. It's hard to constantly be the dancing clown of like, look at me. This is the great, this is the whatever. At some point you're like, I don't want to fucking dance for you. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like I've done everything I can do. I'm trying to like, you know, share and grow this content or whatever. And it's like, that's what's difficult about Shirt Show to a degree is I can't get on here every week and just be like, oh, this is the greatest thing. And, you know, here's the new products and here's the whatever. That's not what the show is. This is a show is like, how am I feeling this week about industry? How am I connecting with you, the guest? And like, I get it. I understand what you're talking about, or you're teaching me something, or we're just having a conversation for like 2 hours. Like that's all this is.
Yeah.
And if you're listening to the podcast and you like it, that's what you're into. You're into commiserating with other shops and hearing what's what. And you know what I mean? Like like listening to your story, there's a lot of things that like are making me think now. Like I really want to, not that I wasn't already thinking of it a little bit, but you kind of lit a fire under me, honestly, where when I get back, I really want to look more into my Dream 100 list. Like I want to look more into my kitting because, you know, getting into those markets that are meaningful to me is important. And maybe that'll give me a little more of a, you know, a dopamine boost of, I'm in that group and I'm doing the right thing. So I get things out of every episode and I hope that the guests get things out of it too. And I mean, obviously they do to a degree. So,
and you should give yourself a lot of credit because, you know, the first time I started listening to the podcast, and I think I told you this when we had a brief conversation on the phone, but like it was a first time I didn't feel completely alone in this industry. And I don't know why it's so isolating. And that's like that's the positivity of the existence of the internet, is that you can find your people. I think the thing that we all, at least for me, that a lot of people are missing is the in-person connection. But this, you know, is just as, you know, affirming as you know, going to a convention, you know, and you know, you go to a convention and you start talking to someone about white inks cracking and you're like, oh, someone understands.
Yeah. But it feels like a little piece of weight fell off your shoulders. You know what I mean? Of like, oh, it's not just me, or it's not a whatever.
It's not just me. I'm not a complete shithead. Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Well, all that being said, what is next for you? What do you feel like is the next iteration of your company and your brand?
I think I'm really open right now to really any possibility. I do know that I need some additional partners to kind of come in. I want to kind of add a marketing element to this, someone who's like really knowledgeable in marketing. I really would love someone who is more equipped and understanding financial sides of things and like cash flow and like getting capital and that kind of stuff. I mean, I face everything with an emotional artist brain, and I just think that it would be great to really find some partners that could take some things off my plate in a meaningful way.
If you're listening to the show right now, I'm speaking to the listeners. I've been searching for this for a little while, but I again too would love to have a guest on the show that is a financial guru in our space. Like, you know, these are the best things to do with your taxes. These are write-offs that you can do. This is how you should do your accounting. This is how you should do your spending. Like, I want somebody that at least has a general knowledge of this industry that can contribute that information. So if anybody out there knows of a great person to do that, let me know. But yeah, I agree with you, Rachel. Like I think I've just given up on having somebody else do that for me. And I just have to, that's part of my YouTube journey right now, is like just being as good with money as I can be and finding out ways to squirrel it away, but also be productive with it and know what's
Yeah.
what.
Yeah. I mean, and I think I have to do a lot of inner work, and I'm very much been traumatized by like sort of people leaving and like leaving a mess for me to clean up, and like, all this sort of years of just like really grinding it out by myself when, with my husband, but like this is my everyday. And, but, and it's so, and I need to do a lot of work internally, and so that I can be prepared to be a partner with someone and like relinquish control and that kind of stuff in a way that is a positive sort of collaboration. And I don't think I've always been in the best like headspace for that. And so I know that there's a lot of mental work that I have to do in order to be prepared to have partners, and and have successful partnerships. And but also you got to find someone that respects the fact that you're respects that you're willing and knowledgeable and able to do it all by yourself. So like, don't fuck around.
Yeah.
It's like if you're not gonna do it, I'll take care of it. But like, it's why you're here. That kind of stuff. It's just like it's a hard thing to be super independent and need help at the same time.
Yeah, I'll be vulnerable and ignorant for a second. It's just like I've said it on here a ton of times, and I've lived it and whatever, where I feel confident telling someone like, hey, this isn't my expertise, so I'm not going to even think about it. Like, I'm good at the customer service and the marketing and the screen printing. I'm going to just hire somebody to do my bank stuff or my back end this or anything that has to do with the business, where I'm just, I think I just convinced myself of like, it's not something I need to know because that's not what I'm good at, and I'm just going to hand it off to somebody else. But the truth of that is that you get burned so easily by not at least educating yourself to a degree or knowing at least the basics. And I think that's something that I learned, and I'm apologizing to you if you listened to this 5 years ago and I was like, you don't need to know that. That's not worth it. And I think that's just the growth. Is like you need to at least like educate yourself on everything that you're touching to a degree of I can handle this if this person dies tomorrow. Like, you need to know where your stuff goes.
There's just so many like people out there that have ill intention, and it's kind of astounding. And not even ill intention. There's also people that don't have ill intentions, but they're just inept or unwilling, and it can just cost you so much money and time.
Well, even to that point, I don't feel like they all have any kind of ill intention. They just might not care as much as you do, or it's not as important as it is to you. Like, there was this thing, and I won't name any names, but like recently where like I am stressing the fuck out. Like, I am like, I got to get this done. This has to happen, whatever. And then I work all day, like 8 hours a day, trying to get everything in order. And then we're talking back and forth, and I submitted at like 4:30 of like, I need your approval. Like, I need to know that this works. But for them, it was like, oh, well, it's 4:45. I leave work. So like, I'll get back to you tomorrow. And it's just like, and you're like, dude, I am on fucking fire. Like, I need you to care for like 2 seconds more. Like, I need you to maybe like check your email at home or check your phone and just be like, looks good. But no, it's just like this. Oh, I shut everything down. I don't care. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Like, that's the stuff where I'm like, I get it on their end too, is like, it's just their job. Like, it's their, like, I'm just another day. But to me, it's like, this is the world right now. Like, I will literally wake up in a night sweat tonight if this doesn't get approved.
Yeah.
Like,
no.
Because I got to get it going.
Yeah, and you can't react in those situations, because then you're the crazy person and you're like, keep it cool.
But I'm saying too, with like the money thing or the accounting thing or whatever it is like, I'm looking at it as like, I'm struggling, or I am trying to really figure this situation out to where I can grow my business, or I can, whatever it is. And I'm going to be a lot more hungry to find these like loopholes or tax breaks or whatever it is, because it'll help me out a lot. But the person I'm hiring to do that is just like, well, I did your taxes. Everything's in correctly. Everything's where it needs to be filed. And it's like, did they go the extra mile to find these things that would really benefit me or throw me over the edge or whatever it is? Like, they're not as invested as we are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's not, they're not doing anything wrong. They're just not in it. You know what I mean?
I think that is the ultimate struggle of being a small business owner, is just no one cares as much as you. Like in like most situations, and you just have to make sure that's not this giant chip on your shoulder. So then you give off a weird energy and people, you know, it becomes a red flag and sort of interactions. And you're like, it does me no good to not do the best job I can possibly do on everything that I do, because then that task or that thing that I was doing never circles back and interrupts what I need to do next, you know? And so your motivation is just to like continue to move forward. You never want to move back, because it's just like it's so jarring, right? And you have to like, let me go fix that.
Well, I want to ask you, we'll kind of get into the last like bit of like this is, do you happen to have any kind of shop hack as it comes to maybe not printing, but just like entrepreneurship, or, you know, we were talking about insurance, or maybe like reaching out to new clients or anything. Do you have anything that like works really well for you that maybe could help somebody else?
So we're still manually printing. I don't have an automatic press, which I don't think we ever covered that. I am still a manual printer. So I use Print Grip. That stuff is changed my life. If you're not using, I don't know about how it works in auto shops, so I can't talk to all these automatic shops, but if you're not using it in a manual shop, like, quit messing around, like, get in on this. And then let's see, I actually wrote them down so I wouldn't forget them. I build a lot of Shopify websites for clients. So one of my biggest hacks is on the item listing. So whenever you're like, you have a Shopify, like an item and it has sizes, I make the first size a dummy size. It's called select a size. And you know, there's probably 1 in every 100 orders where someone will just check out with whatever the default size is. And if that's a small, then you will have an absurd amount of returns and exchanges with smalls. And just by adding that first variant to be select a size, it can trigger, you know,
that's awesome. That's amazing. Yeah, I never thought of that.
Yeah. You can make a flow, like an automatic flow in Shopify, and it sends them an email out and like, hey, you didn't select a size. And then they email you and you correct it, and you don't like become like have this like horrible stock,
and it's wasted money too, because like returns. if you want to be like, oh, we have free returns and blah blah blah, like it's costing you money.
Yep, exactly. So that's like my biggest Shopify hack. I, you know, because we do brand work and I don't do a lot of one and done printing, I actually am not like making and reclaiming screens that often. So I use my architecture brain, and the idea of like having like the print on the transparency and like taping it to the screen, like just kind of broke my brain when I started like learning how to make screens. So I just I know it uses, I'm going to get roasted. Someone's going to roast me on this, but I know it uses a lot of transparency, but I have it over here. I have.
Go ahead. Yeah.
This is a transparency for like a new client, but so you can kind of see it.
You doing it the full size of the screen?
Yeah, I put the frame in the artwork, and all I had to do is just lay it down flat on the frame and line it up to the frame on the artwork, and I don't have to measure anything. I just put it where I want in the art file, and I just put the screen on top of it, line it up, and it's like perfect every time.
The funny thing is that is basically the way that it works with like a CTS or like a, you know, like is that you're laying it out on an artboard where you want it, and then that's where it's going to put it. You're just doing it in the manual sense, which again, like, I know you think someone's going to roast you, but like, do it any way that works for you, that is going to give you consistent best results. And I think if that's what works for you, because you're not doing like a ton of production, you're doing a lot of stuff for yourself or for like specific clients here and there, is like, that's awesome. Like, as long as it works and it's getting rid of issues, like, who cares if there's a little bit of extra film being used? It's more consistent and you're having better results. So hell yeah. I think that's cool.
And then I put clear tape over my registration marks. So I can, I'll do a print run, and then for like bigger clients, we'll do an initial print run before they launch, and then we'll do made to order post launch with a 2 to 5 week turnaround on the orders. And so I'll put those screens up I'll scrape the ink out. We're using Plastisol. And then all I have to do is just like clean off the registration marks, and I can just reset it up. I also use a T-square to line up my registration marks. I don't know if that's also, I think, an architecture brain, where I line it up under the screen to the first screen that I'm starting on the design, and find like the crosshairs in the bottom of it's either top or bottom of the T-square. And then I just line up every screen to that. And like, I don't have to print the registration marks and then like adjust from there. I just line up the marks from that.
Initially.
So it's kind of hard to explain that without visuals.
I think a lot of printers that are on here understand what you're talking about, so you're good.
Yeah. Let's see. Is there anything? Those are pretty much my hacks. But the Shopify one, I think, is a huge one, because the
Shopify one's amazing. That's going to be the highlight for sure. Yeah.
So make your first variant. It's select a size. I mean, you can name it whatever. You can name it like, you didn't select a size, you idiot. You can make it funny, but I just put select a size, and then I set up that automatic email to go out.
How big of a human I am. Yeah, stuff like that. Normally, I would say next, I would say greatest shop fail, but I don't know if you have one of those or want to talk about those, because I feel like you had some greatest shop heartaches.
I did like a canvas applique on this one collection that we did luckily it was for ourselves. And I didn't marrow the edges, or that's not marrow. What is the other one? Serger the edges. And so we did the stitch around the edge, like we printed on the patch, and we sewed it on. But then like after a few washes, the patch would just like unravel and fall off.
So don't do that.
Don't do that. It looks really cool, and just serger the edges of the patch, and you're good. Yeah. That's probably the worst.
What shirt or item for your guys' stuff are you the most proud of?
Right now we have on Star Cadet, we have a balloon shop, like 19 and 1/3 anniversary collection, and it's just a beanie and a hoodie and a hat, and it's just kind of like a throwback collection to Olin's like very first YouTube days. And it's been like 5 years since we've done balloon shop merch, and so I'm always proud of that. I'm proud of that collection, but I think of the stuff that I'm most proud of. Yeah, I think the merch that I am always most proud of is everything that I did for Final Space. It's a beautifully animated television show, and I just like, because Olin was a creator and we had the license, I just like was able to do whatever the hell I wanted. And I just like, I really had a lot of fun doing that. And I worked with a lot of really great artists on it to come up with the design. So I think I'm most proud of like all the Final Space stuff that we did.
That's awesome. I'm glad that you guys had that opportunity to have the creative space with that show and grow it. And it wasn't just like a thing that someone took. I feel like a lot of that stuff, it's like you get your opportunity and you want that creative thing that you made to grow. But if some other entity takes over everything, then it's just gone. I feel like I'm glad you guys got to have such a big piece of that and kind of grow with it.
Me too.
All right. What's the biggest risk you've ever taken?
I think opening that second soda parlor shop was a huge risk. Yeah, that one. I mean, I'm still trying to pay off the loan that we got for that. So
I
yeah.
was going to say, so it didn't work out. Like it didn't pay off.
Yeah, I mean, I think if the tornado hadn't hit it, it probably still would have died just because of 2020 and the COVID and having an ice cream shop run through that. And I feel like brick and mortar retail, it's just now maybe starting to pick back up, but yeah, that one was a big risk.
Okay, my last and favorite, top 4 favorite movies of all time.
Oh, movies. I have my song
we'll do
list and I
shows.
have my movie list.
Okay.
No, I got movies.
We'll do both.
Grand Budapest. Yeah, definitely Grand Budapest Hotel. Breakfast at Tiffany's and Stardust. I do love me some Stardust. Yeah, and you said shows? Oof. I don't think I got any. I don't think I wrote down my shows. I mean, Fleabag, 100%. I love that show.
That was great. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've really been watching Jenna Phipps on YouTube. Like her remodel of her Vancouver home is like she's killing it out there. I've been watching.
That's what we should have done is top YouTube shows.
Yeah. I mean, Project Fear, 100%. Love those guys. And I should say Final Space. And then let's see. That's pretty good, right? That's a good list.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I think, like I said, the good thing about this question is it really shows the kind of person, and I feel like the movies that you picked definitely seem like they make a lot of sense with your personality and what I've learned and everything. So that's why I like asking that question, because it kind of lets you see behind the curtain a little bit of what that person is. You know what I mean? Like, what is it? What do they kind of gravitate towards? But thank you so much, Rachel, for doing this with me today, and thank you for making the time. And you doing this with me today alleviated a lot of stress from me. So just so you know, like you helped me out a lot with my personal weekend journey.
Oh, I'm glad. Yeah. Sorry about having to reschedule. It probably would have. There would have been more tears if we did it back in December.
Yeah, well,
like,
it probably could have gone both ways. The funny thing is your reschedule is what made an episode about me happen, and that was uncomfortable.
Need to go back in.
So
yeah, cool, dude. Thank you so much for having me. I am honored. Yeah. Like, I don't get asked to do. I'm a behind the scenes person most of the time. So it's usually Olin that gets to come on these things.
I think you, in all honesty, like I said, like I don't know. Whatever, but I think you have an amazing story, and I think that you're doing really cool things, and you are a genuine person for what it is that you're trying to do. There's a lot of people that are in this industry that are just like, hey, I want to make money, and this is all I care about, and it's hustle, grind, blah, blah, blah. And the genuine like artists and people that want to make cool stuff, and the people who think about what the things that they put out, and the people who are just like fighting behind the scenes with their emotions and businesses and trying to live their life and just make cool shit are interesting. So I'm glad that you're on that side. So
trying to be. Yeah, I would love to just want to make money. God, what a great place to be. What those people must be.
But those people are dicks. Those people are dicks. To be completely honest, like the people who are just like, nope, this is for money and this is what it is. Like, again, I can't say that they're dicks, but like it takes it out for me. Like, I like the fact that you're involved. I think like the fact that it's personal, and I like the fact that you want to share and you want to see other creatives grow and you want to see all these things happen. Like, to me, that's important. Like, what are we doing this for then? Like, what's the money for?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing with it? Like, you hanging out on your fucking boat by yourself? Like, what are you doing? I don't understand.
I mean, that would be nice.
Okay, all right, I get it.
We fantasize about being shitty rich people.
Yeah, that's all we need to do.
So, yeah. You're like, but we know it's not in us. Like, it really isn't. I just don't. I'm like, I don't know if I think I've accepted that I'm just gonna be this like artistic person that helps people, and that's just my. It could be worse.
Mm-hmm.
It could be worse.
It's funny too because like I stayed in Vegas. I stayed at the Four Seasons, which is not a place that I should be walking into. And yeah, just like with my luggage and the way I was dressed and the way I was when I walked into the Four Seasons and just seeing eyes and stuff of people being like, this guy doesn't belong here. Just also makes me be like, yeah, you rich fucks. I don't care about you either. So
yeah, can I get a scotch?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, Rachel, I'll let you go. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye.
I'll talk to you soon.